So I'm back on Instagram, and I will answer the rest of the questions from the Q&A from my members here, because over on Twitter, I don't know, their server or something seems to be having some issues. So here I am, back. So as much as Instagram can be unfriendly, in this case it is where we are. So I'm going to get to the questions that all my members asked me, and I'm going to start from the beginning again. And just so I have all of them in one place. Yeah? So these are questions from all of my members on youwillpleaseme.com. So first, what excites me the most in any fetish world, vanilla world, etc.? So yeah, before I said that it was, that I got to live exactly how I am. Oh no, what excites me? Oh yeah, that's right. So, yeah, no, it's still the same. So I guess it's when I know that there's a compatibility between me and a potential slave or sub or already, and I get to see them, and it's coming ahead. I think that's the only time that I still get nerves. Hi everybody. So I was wondering what your thoughts are on castration. Have you performed it on a slave? And do you think in some situations it can be performed consensually? So I also answered this one before, to which I said that yes, I have done a simulated castration, but it's very much on their emotions. But I also have had talks about sterilization, very serious ones, between slaves of mine and myself, although none of them have gone to completion. We've decided that maybe it's not something for now. So, yeah, but I have nothing against it. All right. Okay. So now we're getting to the questions I haven't answered yet. You have a unique outlook where you encourage the development of a more meaningful long-term relationship between the mistress and the slave. My question is, have you ever experienced a situation where a slave has become so close that they now see or seek to change the dynamic to a more equal one? How do you disengage or bring them back to the dom-slave dynamic that you started with? The thing is that the more time you spend with me, the more you realize that that is the only dynamic that is going to be. Yeah. So that doesn't happen. Yeah. In reality, I've had when I have had like vanilla exchanges, and they always tend to move towards the DS side of things. That can be when that kind of conversation happens. So it's like, but I'm vanilla and I don't want to be called a sub. And it's like, of course, fine, that's fine. But you have to also realize that this is deeply my personality, and you knew that at the beginning. And this is kind of also, what will naturally come out of things, because it's my personality, and also, again, frankly, I have myself together a lot more than a lot of people. And I think once you have that, that always gives you an upper hand. Yeah, so it would be really hard to meet equally in a lot of ways. I've done that with some fellow mistresses, but not any subs in a way. There are some subs who I think are very equal to me in characteristics, and they very much choose to submit, and so that's part of the nature of the exchange. None of them have rebelled. So, but if we ever did have that conversation, I guess the conversation would be, well, this is the dynamic that I want in my life, and it's not going to work otherwise. I've been there. I can't do a relationship that isn't DS. So that would be the conversation. All right. Let's see. Okay, I'll put in a couple of your questions because they're really good before I answer the rest of my members' questions. Is it possible for you to notice a dominant and submissive in first glance? No. I think for the moment, some people can fit in really well for a moment to be submissive or to be dominant, but I think you really need a whole collection of those moments to see where they might lie on the spectrum of things. Some people can act really well. Yeah. So I can see if they have potential in either direction, but I cannot tell you that that's their whole life story. Yeah. So, Evanesky, similar to the last question, how do you deal with a sub or slave who wants more of a relationship than you want to give? Okay, so the previous question was about if they wanted to change the dynamic, which frankly I can't do. I can tone it down, but that would mean that we would not be as close, because then you would move into vanilla friend territory, and that's a different territory. But if I'm with somebody as a sub or a slave who wants more of a relationship than I want to give, the thing is that I'm quite flexible, and I'm open to negotiation, always. And so if there's enough of the characteristics there that you're already serving me, then I'm always open to conversations about where people want to take it, more or less, and feeling things out and going from there. So if they want to go into a territory that I don't want to give, I guess that could include, what could that include? Like maybe they wanted to live with me, or they wanted to marry me, which have been questions. Yeah, but those I guess are slightly more extreme cases. I said that's just not going to work. I want my space, or I'm not necessarily interested in legal marriage, or if I was, there would be a lot of terms, and I could talk about that negotiation, but it would be a negotiation. If I ever had a strap-on session, what do you think? I've been doing this professionally for 8 years. So, alright. So now I'll get back to the questions from members of youwillpleaseme.com. I answered this one too. What's the most irritating mistake or faux pas that a new submissive commits, in my view? And to which I did talk about, but I'll try to make it more succinct this time. Basically, when they're just so gung-ho and they don't necessarily have an awareness of what they're really looking for, and they haven't taken time to think about it, and they just go for it, you know? And they just, like, they apply, and they do all the right things, and they turn up, and it's too much, you know? The reality of it is too much for them, and they didn't take it slowly, and they didn't think about the potential consequences, and they burn out, and it's just a cycle that some people do. And so I guess some self-reflection and communication needs to happen so that the cycle doesn't have to go back on itself. And they need to also understand that some people do talk too much, but some people don't talk enough. And the people in the cycle often don't communicate effectively enough either. So if they could figure out, just to take the time to sit down with an experienced dominant or even a peer, you know, a bit submissive, that would help them a lot, rather than just going through the same cycle of excitement and highs and just hitting low and not talking about it, you know? So more questions from members. What act of submission has most touched me since you began youwillpleaseme.com? Alright, so I began youwillpleaseme.com about a year now. Yeah, actually. A year ago now. So I guess it would be to do with the site, right? This is hard. I guess overall, I am astounded. I'm astounded by the people it has brought me. Like, many of you are in this chat, but I could not have imagined that I would have met so many compatible out there in the world, all over the world, you know? Like deeply compatible. And it's like, it's amazing. In a way, it's like the best dating site for me ever. DS dating site. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have courses on there that teach people how I like things, and obviously the people who stick around are people who that resonates with. But yeah, just to be able to have conversations with people on the other side of the world who are members of my site, and just get along, you know, and see eye to eye, and it goes it's just, it amazes me still. It's my favorite thing about this site, that I meet such compatible subs through it. So yeah. Oh. Can I love you back? Deleted SS009979. If you were slightly less anonymous, I would have more of an idea of what there was to love. Alright, and then another question. Oh, this is from somebody who obviously already knows me a bit. How do you deal with being an introvert, but having so much personal information on the web for so many eyes to see, but you cannot control who sees and knows those things about you? I think that question says a lot about you too. But how do I deal with being an introvert and having so much info out there? The thing is that there's a lot that you don't know. There's a lot that you don't know and that you don't see, and that I don't post as well. There's a much larger me. Yeah, that's mine. And you see the tip of the iceberg, basically. And I'm very happy showing that tip, and that leads into deeper things. But you don't get it all, and I guess I retain a lot of it, and that kind of keeps me sane. Also, I mean, social media and everything is such a lovely medium for an introvert, where you can talk to like a video of yourself and some text, and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. Even though there are people, sitting on the other end of this, you know, so it's good for people like me. Yeah. Alright, so when am I coming back to Sydney? I don't want to make more travel plans. I have plans until September now. But yeah, I'll probably be back next summer. Yeah. I'm a bit tired. Alright, so what is your favorite aspect of meeting and training new playthings, submissives, or slaves? What is my favorite aspect? I guess a part of me, I am quite introverted, but also part of me is a bit of a show-off. I love being able to, I love seeing the reaction of somebody who's new to me, who doesn't understand how quickly I work in a play space. Yeah. So I'm a very well-measured version of myself in a chat like this, or in general, but in a play space I get to be me, right? And so my mouth, I say a lot of things that I would never say in day-to-day life, and I guess, and also I can be very, very strict and very harsh and very fast, and it's a lot of fun, but it's also quite surprising for a lot of people. And I love seeing that surprise and that fear. That would probably be my favorite aspect of it, for them to realize that they're in over their heads. Yeah, but don't worry, I'll still look after you. And then this is the last question from my members, and then I'll let you guys ask me a couple before I sign off for tonight. Since you are introverted and you like to escape to your jungle, what is your favorite way to decompress and isolate yourself from the rest of the world? So this is somebody who does already know me. I own quite a bit of land in Bali, and I try to get there for 2 weeks a month, more or less, though that hasn't happened so far this year. So that is how I decompress and isolate myself from the rest of the world. The thing is, I train my slaves to do that as well. I travel a lot, I do a lot of things, but at the same time, I have my I have my slaves trained to the point where I don't have to think about all the little things, whether that's hotels or cars or food or whatever. And so it just gives me a lot more space to ground, even when I'm in a busy city and really busy. I don't have to think about little things, and so that helps me quite a lot as somebody who prefers quiet. And then to keep myself grounded, I go back to that piece of land as much as I can. I could budget better with the on and off time, but yeah, that's just how it is right now. So yeah, so I disappear and I train slaves to be able to shield me from the noise and the things that really make me very tired in cities. So yeah. So those are the questions for today from my members. They were very good questions. Do you guys have any more questions before I sign off? Let me have a little scroll to see if I missed anything. Alright. I love this. So you can send waves. I don't go on lives very much. What else can you send? Can you send me some other stuff? What happens if I click a wave? Alright, so if you guys don't have any more questions for me, I'm going to sign off. It's late in Tokyo now. Well, late for me. And thank you so much for joining me. I'll post this wherever I can, if I can figure out how to download it. And if you're a member of my site, you can ask me questions for this any day of the month at youwillpleaseme.com/livestream. Yeah? So send me questions for the next round. And thank you so much for joining me.